Hi friends, we are discussing about the poem The Lotus Eaters, written by the great poet Alfred Lord Tennyson. We have discussed the poem in previous two videos. Let's continue the poem. Why are we weighed upon with heaviness and utterly consumed with sharp distress, while all things else have rest from weariness? All things have rest. Why should we toil alone? We only toil who are the first of things. In these lines, this is the second part of choral song, follows a particular theme of discontent. The narrator, speaking for the man, asks the universe why men have no rest while all others do. They state that they are weighed upon with heaviness while also being consumed by sharp distress. The men do not believe that this is fair, as everything else in the world has rest. Why should they be the only creatures to consistently toil alone? We only toil who are the first of things and make perpetual moan, still from one sorrow to another thrown, and never fold our wings. As was found in the first part of the poem, the men, after eating the lotus fruit, are only concerned with their own well being. They no longer feel for those beyond their reach. They are discontented with their life. They feel that they are thrown from one sorrow to another and never attain their happiness in their life, and cease from wanderings nor step our brows in slumber's holy balm. No hearken what the inner spirit sings. There is no joy but calm. Why should we only toil the roof and crown of things? They, the first of things, are only ones to toil and only to make perpetual moan. The men are rejecting their previous lives of hard work and struggle in favor of one in which they will only rest. They no longer want to be thrown from one sorrow to another, nor ever have to stop doing as they please in the favor of working. They want to stop their wanderings, which they had done in their previous life. Now they want to sleep forever and enjoy their lives and want to rest in their lives. In previous life, they have not listened their inner spirit, and they did not enjoy their life, but now they want to enjoy their life in this land. Lo, in the middle of the wood, the folded leaf is wood from out of the bud, with winds upon the branch, and there grows green and broad, and takes no care, sun steeped at noon and in the moon. In third of these choric song stanzas speaks on how the men feel that unlike the rest of the creation, they are unable to have a peaceful life that consists of living and then dying. They want to live as a leaf does, budding, being blown on its branch, growing green and broad, never having to take care. And then finally, after being dew feed after under the moon, turn yellow and float to the ground. Nighty dew fed and turning yellow falls and floats adorn the air, low, sweetened with the summer light. The full juiced apple waxing over mellow drops in a silent autumn night. They are seeing the life cycle of the simplest parts of the creation as the most appealing to them. All things, the chorus states, are able to live to an allotted length of days and then be replaced by something else that will be eventually ripe and fade. In this place, which is full juiced apples and waxing over mellow drops are falling in silent autumn night, and they are listening the music of the night in peacefully atmosphere. They are enjoying their real meaning of their life in is this in this place. So they did not feel boring boredness in their life, and they did not want to return at their homes. All its allotted length of days, and the flower ripen in its place, ripen and fades and falls, and hath no toil, fast rooted in the fruitful soil. These lives are the most fulfilling as they have distinct purpose that does not including toil. The flowers ripened in its place, then ripens and fails from the plant and falls, had no toil. They did not had no toil, so fast rooted in the fruitful soil, and they become fruit and then fall from the plant. Hateful is the dark blue sky, vaulted over the dark blue sea. Death is the end of life. Ah, why should life all labor be? Let us alone. Time driveth onward fast. In the fourth stanza, the speakers are bemoaning the fact that we are all heading towards death and must labor on the way there. They do not believe that life should be completely made up of labor. They want to be left totally alone and unbothered by the real world. They are hitting the dark blue sky, which is vaulting over the dark blue sea. They knew the truth that death is the end of life. Then they say that if we all have to die, then why should we do labor in our life? We want to be alone at this land, and time moves us very fast towards the grave. And in a little while our lips are dumb. Let us alone. What is it that will last? All things are taken from us and become portions and partials of the dreadful past. Let us alone. What pleasure can we have? Their lives are moving very quickly, and death will soon approach. While they are still alive, they want to be left alone and have nothing else taken from them. There is no point that they can see fighting wars against evil, as there is no pleasure in it. Nothing in the world is going to last, so why waste their time making dreadful Memories. To war with evil, is there any peace? In ever climbing up the climbing wave, all things have rest and ripen towards the grave. In silence ripen, fall, cease. Give us long rest or death, dark death or dreamful ease. By the end of the stranger, they have come to the conclusion that it is better to die. It is better to just die now rather than live a life of labor. They think that what is the means of war which we fight against evil? Is there any peace we want? All things have rest in their lives and ripen to means everything in this world grow and ripe and falls. This is the cycle of the life. Then why should we labor? We should if we should want to die, we just die at the moment, but we did not want to work or labor at now. So this is the third video of this poem. I hope you understand the poem. Thank you so much.